everyone for another edition of Meet the Giants, this time with Sysco France, a fantastic enterprise that is a global leader of delivering food products across the world. Welcome, Olivier Canone. It's a pleasure to have you. I will introduce you very shortly. We're going to let people a couple of minutes to join this live stream. But it's a pleasure to have you. Welcome and good evening, Olivier.
Hello.
So we will give people a few minutes, as I said, to join this live. We'll be starting in 3 to 4 minutes. We very excited to have you, Olivier. I'm really keen to talk about this vertical, this industry that is so fundamental to the way that our society today works, and the distribution of food, which is of course one of the greater challenges of humanity as a whole for its livelihood, but also more particularly in the way of sustainability. The sector being one of the hardest to actually control and reduce. So this will be a very interesting conversation that we will have together today on that topic. I'm very excited.
Glad to be here too. I'm not a native English speaker, so I will try my best to explain the way we lead these subjects at Sysco.
No problem. We have people. We will be having this conversation, of course, in English, in the language of Shakespeare. We have people joining from all around the world. So don't hesitate to let us know through the chat where you're calling in from, where you're joining us from. It's always good to know and to hear that there are some people from all over the world, all continents that come and listen to these talks, to these fireside chats. And what we are trying to do with this Meet the Giants event series is really to give everyone and anyone a view over what are the real mechanics of transforming such a large company towards sustainability, and what are also its challenges, and how can we make it, and how can we make it.
Right. A big challenge.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you must be having a lot of work already, Olivier, on your plate with Sysco France. You are specialized in, or you are focusing on France and the country. The country strategy. So it's already within the span of this company a huge endeavor. We're really looking forward also to see how these two dynamics connect from one country to another. Sysco is actually an American-based company with a subsidiary pretty much all over the world, but the HQ is based in the US, so there must always be some interactions together. We will have a chance to discuss this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, especially it's a Houston-based company, so sometimes it can mean that the way they see sustainability can be different from another part of the US. But I will explain how they are leading the point at Sysco globally. So it's a pleasure to be a part of Sysco France, Sysco Group, and to be contributing to this huge challenge.
Don't mess with Texas.
Yes.
The Lone Star State, of course, it's got its own specificity and its own ways of thinking, for sure. What I would suggest is that we now get started. It's been a couple of minutes, so Olivier, you're joining us. You're joining us from France. You're the CSR, the owner of the topic of CSR for Sysco France since a few months. If I'm not mistaken, you were previously a consultant for 10 years in the space of ESG, of sustainability, of carbon accounting. And also giving classes, teaching about these topics at the university or at the EM Lyon, right? Lyon, sorry. And it's a real pleasure to have someone who come from such a background that has been seeing so many different types of sustainability strategy. Now joining this large company that is Sysco. Sysco, for our audience, is the world's global food service leader. So It is present in 90 countries around the world. It's a huge turnover of 55 billion euros. And over 70,000 employees. So this is quite the big ship that has to be steered towards sustainability. It's a pleasure to have you, Olivier, for this 8th edition again of Meet the Giants. We're gonna try to explore as much as possible of what you do in your day-to-day activity, what the strategy of Sysco France is, and how does it connect to the greater race to sustainability, the science-based race that that all companies are now trying to meet. Thank you so much for joining us. And if there is any questions from the audience, please feel free to use the chat. We will be moderating these questions, asking. We will go ask as many questions, Olivier. This will be an interrogatory, but we might not be able to do all of the questions of the audience, so I apologize in advance for this. We don't hesitate to get in touch with us at Plan A if you have further questions, if you would like to follow up on specific topics. We are always happy to provide this, beyond this 1 hour that we will share together.
Okay, right. And to precise just one point, Cisco globally, you explained how big it is. Concerning Cisco France, it's only 3 years that Cisco France does exist. It was two companies merged by Cisco when they bought it 3 years ago, and it's only 2% of the global turnover of Cisco globally. But it's yeah, we keep a place concerning sustainability because they see that in France and also in Sweden, and the subsidiary in Sweden, we have organized a CSR strategy before them. So they are really kind to hear from us, from our experience concerning sustainability strategy, even if they are working very well and very quick to uh, to take this path of CSR sustainability.
Thank you for the precision, Olivier. Indeed, we will get a chance to dive a little bit deeper into this relativity between the leadership in terms of strategy and the actual percentage of emission that this might represent in the group. But maybe before we go towards this in-depth subject, I would love for the audience to learn a little bit more about you, Olivier Canonet, and how did you end up at this in this position? What was the journey that led you to work in the first place in sustainability and to be interested in working in such a large group to spearhead the sustainability strategy of Cisco France?
Okay, as you said, I discovered the subject during my study at EM Lyon. I discovered the subject sustainable development. It was in 2000. I was just discovering the subject, and it was interesting in one course just launched by EM Lyon. After this course, I found it really interesting. There was no possibility to go deeper concerning these subjects in this school and even in France. So I had to make an exchange student in Norway, and I discovered that in Norway it was already implemented very deeply in the debate concerning the firm or the public regulations. So I was really interested in, and I had some technical courses on environmental economics, for example, or some subjects like that. And after that, I made an internship for the the Global Compact, the UN Global Compact. Perhaps somebody knows this movement launched in 2000 to help firm making commitments concerning 10 principles concerning social aspects, human rights, and even environment. And after that, I started my professional career at Adecco, a global group. For sure, you know, a human resource group, and I was hired by as a CSR manager already. And it was very interesting to work on the social aspects, especially because the main CSR issues of Adecco are concerned by social issues like discrimination or health and safety at works and subjects like that. And after I created a consulting agency to help more smaller companies to implement this kind of CSR subjects, to make it concrete and to make it a strategic point of their activities. And I had Cisco as a customer during this period of consulting, and some years after that, they asked me if I want to manage the CSR full job at Cisco. So that's why 2 years ago I joined Cisco to manage the CSR subjects.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this overview. To keep on drilling down, so you accepted, of course, this offer. What are the main perimeter? What is the perimeter of your activities? What are the key responsibilities that you have as the CSR manager of Cisco France today?
So my perimeter is Cisco France. It's 4,000 employees. It's a 1 billion euro turnover, and we are distributing food products for the restaurants, for collective restaurants in educational organization or hospitals, and also for classic restaurants like brasserie or restaurants like that. And the main subjects, of course, are the products we are selling, the ways they are produced, the raw materials, the some key commodities like palm oil or soy concerning animal feeding. There is a lot of subjects. Food products have critical CSR issues. So that's the main critical issues of my perimeter. And after that, of course, the carbon footprint is really important. The food production is the main carbon impacts, but it's an indirect impacts. It's our suppliers who are responsible directly from these impacts, but we have a role to help them make low carbon products, as I can say. Directly, our main impact is our fleet or trucks. Every day they are delivering products to the restaurants, and there are a heavy carbon footprint for sure. We have 800 trucks driving every day, so it's a huge impact, and we are trying to reduce that. And then we have also some issues like the packaging. For sure, the plastic packaging, single-use plastic packaging. Sometimes we have subjects like the waste we are producing. So there is a lot of issues.
A lot
And
of issues,
as
but
I
a big
say, the
perimeter.
social aspects also are important. But we have a human resource department very involved in the social aspects like health and safety or diversity at work. So we are working on that. But that's clear that as for my responsibility, I'm above all focused on the product issues and the environmental issues than the social issues, but they are also important for Cisco.
Of course, and Cisco Global just released just last week its global strategy to go towards these different aspects of environment, social, and governance. Maybe now is a good time to ask you a little bit more detail around this strategy. You mentioned as well helping your supply chain, which is a very big topic for a number of companies. The famous Scope 3 emissions, which are indirect. A lot of them coming from the supply chain. It would be interesting to know also what is there in the strategy also a part around this supply support, this external outside of Sysco support. But I let you give us a much more in-depth introduction to this.
Yeah, it's a very brand new strategy because it was released just on Monday this week. So I'm very glad to have the possibility to explain it. It's a science-based target carbon strategy. It was very important for us to be like other bug firm in the world to have this science-based target point of view. But the as a lot of companies, more than 98% of our global carbon footprint is indirect carbon footprint. It comes from our suppliers, above all, 90% of our product suppliers, 8% from our transportation suppliers. So our direct emissions are only 2% of the global footprint of Sysco globally. But concerning this 2%, for sure, we have the direct responsibility. But you see, as you said, our biggest challenge is to involve our suppliers with us to find some better way to produce, some better way to transport our products to deliver them to our warehouses. So that's why we have committed to ask them to have also science-based target strategy and to follow it, to explain to us how they are following the plan of actions, and we are open to difficulties they can identify in this pathway to make us be better together as a low carbon world.
Of course, I read in the strategy that there were also this encouragement to follow the same science based targeting throughout within Cisco, but also throughout the supply chain. And I found that a very interesting point that you don't always find in the decarbonization strategy, in the sustainability strategies of other business. Was this something that in Cisco is a particular topic of focus for sustainability, or is it purely due to the number, this incredible 80% number coming from the suppliers?
Yeah, our suppliers are so important for us. At Cisco, Cisco France is a bit different because we have three production plants. So we produce like a third of the products we are selling to the customers. So we are involving our free producing plants in this journey. But globally, the supplier of Cisco France are there are very big firms, food production firms, and we have also very small suppliers in a specialized area for specialized products. So that's why we are aware that we won't be able to involve them all together in this science-based target focusing. So we commit to involve 2/3 of them with science-based established science-based target, and for the other third, we think that we will be able to explain, to work with them, even if they have not science-based target, if they are smaller, to help them implementing some GHG reductions.
Some changes in the way that they produce the food, or that they operate, logistically speaking.
Exactly.
Maybe one thing that is interesting here at this stage, the strategy comes from Texas, from the HQ, Cisco Global. I'm curious to know how you, as the manager of a country, on the country level, how do you take in this strategy? How involved are the local CSR managers in the building of this strategy, and what are maybe some of the challenges that exist when you have to apply a strategy, also coming from another country with different dynamics, to your local reality?
Yes, concerning the CSR governance of Cisco, all CSR manager of the Cisco subsidiaries are involved. We have a monthly meeting to discuss all these subjects, and we were also involved in the implementation of the global project. 1 year ago, we decided to make a global carbon footprint analysis. We choose somebody, a technical consultant, to help us identifying the way we can do it, and then to implement this science-based target strategy. So we were really involved at all the stages. And when they announced it, it was not a discovery. Everybody was already aware of that. For us, CSM manager, but also the leaders of all the subsidiaries. They had a specific. There are two specific meetings explaining them the carbon strategy, which will be released this Monday. So everybody was already involved. And what is interesting also, they were really interested by the our own national CS global carbon strategy. They were questioning us about the way we think to move the trucks to alternative engines, for example, or the way we imagine the financing of the carbon reduction projects. So it was really interesting. And above all, there is a Cisco subsidiary which is in advance. It's the Swedish subsidiary, Cisco Sweden, and they had already a carbon strategy really structured. They're already offsetting their whole carbon emissions. So we are really interested by the way they are doing it, but it is not possible to duplicate everything they have done already. But it was really inspirational to see that some of the subsidiaries are like in advance concerning some subjects, but also at a smaller scale, for sure.
Of course, this is really interesting as a point of how, as I explained, one of the goals is to understand how to steer such a big ship when you are working within such a big ship. And this is the kind of the contrary approach, where from the bottom up, from a very almost grassroots way, you are able to learn from different countries, from different teams operationalizing different aspects of sustainability. You mentioned you had a lot of different topics to manage. So it's in the end a very dynamic environment to work in from a CSR implementation perspective.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and for sure, as I said, the part of European Cisco subsidiaries is really small, but they are really open to hear from us, to learn from best practices, and also to show us some innovations. For example, at Cisco US, last year they experiment very big electric trucks, 44 tons for several hundred of kilometers. And yeah, they were able to invest and to find some partners to build this kind of big electric trucks, and testing them during several weeks, and showing that it's possible. So that's why, as a commitment, one of the biggest commitment concerning our scope one is to yeah, to achieve a part of electrification of trucks, 35% in 230. It's equivalent to 250 electric trucks. So it's incredible when you know how it costs to have this kind of trucks now. So there is a real involvement of Cisco globally, even concerning the investment aspects.
Absolutely, and one thing I was interested to ask as well during this Meet the Giant event is, can you give us a little bit of insight as what drives the goal of sustainability within Cisco. Where does the incentivize and this commitment come from, both in terms of timing, planning, funding? This has a lot of different facets. Why does Cisco want to become sustainable in the end?
Actually, Cisco decided 1 year ago to have a s- a global purpose, and it's really interesting that this purpose was set really clearly for us, and they explained that I can perhaps find back the it's connecting the world to share food and care for one another. And having this purpose, they decided to go all the way around to food, to fight food ah,
Food waste.
food waste, or no, food waste, not food, the people who have not access to enough food all day long, to fight hunger, and to have a more diverse firm. And it made a lot of issues aware that it would be the strategy of Cisco to tackle these issues also. And we have a very leadership involved, the CEO is really involved in these subjects. He explained himself the way he sees the CSR strategy. So it's really interesting. And one point is that our customers are asking us very more oftenly about these subjects, about transparency concerning the products, about the nutritional aspects, about the way they are produced, animal welfare and food waste. So for sure, the one of the main driver is our customer. Yeah, to be clear. And also, I was a bit amazed, but the shareholders are really pushing us to set science-based target initiative, to set a goal concerning climate change. It came from the shareholders from the last board of directors meeting. So we have like not a pressure, but motivation coming from a lot of stakeholders. And inside Cisco, also the employees, there is not a day or a week that some employees from Cisco France are asking me about the waste management, about the animal welfare, or some subjects. So it's very motivating to have answers to give them.
And it's a lot of different stakeholders to manage as well, that have, I imagine,
Yeah, but the
quite
same
different
way.
expectations.
Yeah, they're reaching the same targets. It's very interesting. The
Very
sustainability, right?
that's really fascinating, and we observe with Plan A also this progressive but fast change of the different questions that are being asked, the level of the level of expertise also of all of these stakeholders that are now very well versed, or much more versed. Do you also see the same thing over the span of your career with the development of the sustainability question? Is this something that you've also experienced and witnessed?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people are really aware of the issues. They are asking very specific questions, very accurate questions, and even if sometimes from political aspects, they have. Yeah, there are some different trends. The global trends is towards sustainability. I think a lot of people have understood that yeah, we must act from this path of sustainability, and it won't be only difficulties, only investment, only budget, more budget to expense, but it's a way to be more dynamic and to grow better for the future.
That's a really good leeway to one of the questions I wanted to ask you, which relates to the importance of innovation and technology in this sustainability transition. So we know that all of these challenges that you've mentioned, the products, the packaging, the logistics, the transportation, distribution, all require a certain level of disruption from certain practices that we have been doing. How does Cisco utilizes the innovation that is currently at hand or that is being developed in the green tech sector? Is this one of the pillar of the strategy? Do you develop in-house? Do you work with external companies, organizations, startups also to support you in this transformation?
Yeah, concerning innovation, and as you say, the main subject for us is transportation. Yeah, the trucks, the alternative engine for sure, and we are working with trucks builders because yeah, I told you that we have 800 trucks, delivery trucks, and in France, but in the US, I have not the number in mind, but it's incredible amount of big trucks. I know that Cisco in the US is working very tightly with the truck builders to find operating solutions and innovations concerning the engines. They are working on electric trucks for sure with battery, also from hydrogen engine. So, but nowadays there is no exact innovation to be sure which kind of technology will be the future technology. It's the main subjects. Concerning other subjects, I fear that in the packaging aspects will be very, very difficult, especially in France. I don't know if everybody knows, in France there is a law which will ban all single-use plastic in all the area, especially in the food activity, will be banned in 2040. And from now, when we see the amount of single-use plastic in our packaging, it seems to be impossible, really. So, and even there is a lot of firm searching for innovation with carton, with reusable packaging, but the subject seems to be very, very difficult, especially to reach this zero single-use plastic packaging in 2040. But we will be our best to reduce, to recycle, to make the lower impact for the environment packaging. But it seems to be the most difficult subject now.
It's almost as if you have to rely on future technologies or technologies currently in development to be able to meet this objective that was already set. So that I imagine creates a bit of uncertainty for sure in terms of objective, but I have full confidence that with the resources at hand, we're able to work on this topic. Maybe jumping ahead, there was a very interesting question from one of the person listening in, tuning in. Thank you, Jennifer Gonzalez Lozano. Can you give us a concrete example of an initiative that you have implemented or that you are currently planning on implementing? Maybe in particular, going back to the topic of supply chain. But if you have, an example that is within the company that you would like to share, please give us two.
Yeah, I have some example in mind, but perhaps the subjects was quite difficult to tackle when I entered Cisco 2 years ago was the animal welfare. Because animal welfare is a subject of debate, of political debate, and it's normal. But there is no specific framework to identify the best or the worst way to grow some animals. So it was quite difficult to hear from some stakeholders, some militants for sure, and some politics or some customers asking about animal welfare. So. Without any specific framework, we met some NGOs, specialists in animal welfare subjects, and we worked with specific suppliers concerning the chicken. especially the chicken, there is some really huge problems with the chicken supply chain, and we work with the specific supplier we choose to grow chicken without any premium quality labeling, because when the chicken have a premium quality labeling, they are grow outside in the field, they are feed with cereals from the local areas, and there is uh, we can say there is no big problem with animal welfare with this kind of premium quality chicken, but they are really expensive. And we created like a range of products for chicken products growth with this specific animal welfare specification, but with a lower price, so we can sell it to more customers, especially for collective customers for at school or hospitals who have not a huge budget to buy but the raw materials for their meal productions. And we are quite proud of these specific products because it it respects the basics, and not the basics, but the quite premium animal welfare criteria, but it's also not that expensive products. So we were quite proud of this with projects.
Being able to combine these environmental factors with also the economic imperatives of your clients. Do you maybe to drill down in this as well? Do you see complementarity or more opposition between the creation of wealth and the making a better product and sustainability? Is this something that is more a problem for you, or more sustainability can be an opportunity for your business?
Both, because with some sustainability issues, for sure, it's more expensive. For example, the organic products are demanding of different growing criteria and situations, and it makes these products more expensive, but sometimes not that expensive that you can be see at shop. Sometimes there is a it's an opportunity for some shops to sell the organic products more expensive, even as they are purchased. But sometimes it's a way to have some customers involved with us, and being able to explain their own customers, because we are selling products to restaurants and then they are cooking our products to serve it to customers in their restaurants. So they are really happy to explain that these products come from a local region, is free from some I don't know, palm oil, for example, or it can be a problem for certain customers. So it's very interesting because it's creating value, and even the customers is ready to buy some a bit expensive, a more expensive meal at the restaurant, but being aware that the product, the meal is good. For sure, it's the main aspects when you go to restaurant, that the meal is good, it tastes good, but also with a like a ethical adding value, or environmental added value.
Of course, of course. It ties in. It's really interesting that you mentioned also some local specificities, because the food industry is very tied to the sanitary regulations, and there's a lot of rules that you have to abide by in order to produce this food, distribute it, sell it. How does this legal framework influence the playground, so to speak, that you have? Is this a driver that you follow and that you apply, for example, with the elimination of plastic packaging in France that you mentioned? How does that interact with your global plan?
As you see, I did not mention it before. For sure, the regulation are more and more strict, especially in France, concerning the packaging, concerning the labeling. but it's not the main driver. To be honest, it's not the main driver. The main driver really is the customer, and the sometimes the supplier solution they are offering us some more sustainable solution, and we are really happy to hear that from them, and to be able to sell it and to promote it to our own customers, the even the shareholders, as I mentioned. The regulation are there. Sometimes they are kind of strict, as I explained, concerning the packaging, but also the food waste. It can be a driver sometimes. For example, concerning the plastic bottle in the firm. Okay, now it's banned to give free water plastic bottle to employees. So okay, I'm able to say to everybody, okay, we are not allowed to buy it right now. But it's just a driver, and for sure, we are not just following the regulations, because our customers want more, for sure, and we want more to have a further impact concerning some these issues I already explained. So it's a driver. We have to respect it. Sometimes it's an opportunity to go further to a subject, and I can mention food waste. Because there is a law now in France, quite challenging concerning food waste. So it's great. It will be a way for us to go better and further on this subject. But globally, it's a driver, but not a motivation.
Okay, understood. Very, very, very well said. In the field of these regulations, there's also an important part that the government plays, of course, or the governments at different levels of decision. We recently had, for instance, the COP26 that has happened. Do you, as a CSR manager, do you follow these events closely, or does that not so much influence the global strategy, or more the operational strategy that you have to implement?
To be honest, we were just following it from yeah. No, I think me and my fellow CSM manager know that it's very difficult to have really tight decisions in this kind of meeting. They are really important to have this kind of meeting where the big leaders and the scientists of all over the world, and even the NGOs of the citizens can be there, talk together from countries, from different countries with different issues. But for us, it's not like a driver. As you see, we released our carbon strategy on Monday, and we could have planned to release it just during the COP or just before the COP, so that we are kind of involved, and we can say, okay, perhaps some customers or some people will speak about Cisco during the COP. Or so it was absolutely not the case. We released it on Monday, but to be honest, you know that I was not sure that it will be released when I was making this discussion with you. So because there was not a specific point to say, okay, it's a communication plan, we will release it this date because it's really important to have a communication on it. No, it was we made it. We presented it to the board of directors, and then it was discussed, and then it was approved and released, and it was not directly linked with the political agenda, and especially the COP 2026.
Understood. Thank you very much. We have some questions in the chat. Going back to one of the topics that we now mentioned twice over is this question of supply chain, which seems to come back and come back. Would you say that you are already successful in involving these stakeholders within your global strategy? And what do you maybe have a tip or a trick on how to do this for the people that are tuning in?
There is really different situation concerning the suppliers. We have some suppliers already really mature on CSR subjects. I can't mention some of them, but some are really helping us in our roadmap, and some of them it's quite hard to have them with us implementing some progress because they used to do a way, and it's kind of hard to change sometimes, you know that. But we are always explaining and discussing with them. We discover that being very strict and saying, okay, if you don't do that, we won't be working with you anymore, it's not a good way. Sometimes with some supplier, for sure, when there is some scandals or some really, some of them are really reluctant to do progress, we can do that. But more often we are more discussing with us, explaining us or roadmap, and involving them, asking questions. Why do you want us to implement this kind of change in our products? Why do you want us, for example, very specific issues right now, why do you want to know which is the animal feed of our cattle? Why? Because it can have some soybeans coming from Brazil and coming from deforestation area, and it's really important to know that for us. Okay, so we are asking them, and they are asking this food, animal food suppliers, who is asking the trader who are buying the soya beans, and from where it's bought, from which port in Brazil. And it's a really long supply chain, but it's really important for us. And above all, concerning the supply chain, transparency is really important. And there is a growing trend from our customers to have at least transparency. And after that, they make their choice. Okay, this product is coming from very far away, or is coming globally. I want to know that, and then making my choice. And it's our job to explain them that for example, on this example, this product is better. Okay, it can be a bit more expensive or a bit more different, but there is a, like I said, environmental or social added value, and I like to explain this that way.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that really resonates also with Plan A. Our one of our missions is to create this transparency, or to help companies create this transparency. We know that it's actually really hard to get the data. If you do not own the data, it's also a job, a part of the job in and of itself. Which sometimes considerably slows down the process of transformation in these companies and in these supply chains both. Maybe it's a slightly provocative question, I imagine, for a CSR manager, but are you optimistic to meet the goals that were set from Cisco Global's global strategy, but also on a grander level on meeting planetary boundaries and science-based target as a species?
It's a hard question. Concerning Cisco, I'm kind of optimistic, not because it's the best company of the world, but the target they are setting and we are setting are not that optimistic. And it's really a science-based target, as we said. And an example is our science-based target is based on the SBTI, the Science-Based Target Initiative, which is to have an objective in 2050. But we decided not to release officially or the way we are driving or carbon.
We seem to have lost Olivier. So just ask you for a quick minute. Olivia has just disconnected for a second. He will be back shortly. We're already reaching towards the end of our event. There's already been so many great questions. Thank you all for providing those questions. I hope that we were that we gave some correct answers and some relevant answers to you. Don't hesitate to keep on asking questions. They're all welcome, and this is a really good chance for us to discuss and understand what are your challenges, what are your thoughts about about how you want to implement sustainability. The goal again of Meet the Giants is really to provide everyone with the tools of how to implement sustainability, whether in a big or a small corporation. This is not so much the question. The question is more what levies of action can we actually take. And here is Olivier. He's back.
Sorry, a
Can you
technical
hear us?
problem, I think. Yes, yeah, you can hear us.
Yes,
Sorry,
you're good. You're
I don't
back.
know
All
what was
good.
happening, but just get.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
So we were just discussing the level of optimism that one has on the one hand on the company level, but then expanding on the more global vision for humanity. Maybe let's just start over these questions just to make sure that everyone hears the entire answer.
Yeah, as I said, I'm kind of optimistic concerning Cisco and the Cisco CSR strategy, but concerning the whole subject all over the world, I'm not that optimistic because it's quite hard to tackle all the issues and to see everybody going the same way. For example, here in France, with the commitment of the French state is to reduce by 40% carbon emission till 2030. And just this year or the next year, we will the greenhouse gas emission will grow at least by 10 or 15%. So it's quite strange to see that, and I don't know how it would be possible easily to do this, but we have to keep to have yeah, to be optimistic for sure, because we won't resume work as a day-to-day CSM manager.
Of
And
course.
for example, as I said, in Cisco Sweden, my fellow CSO manager at Cisco Sweden is kind of challenging for all of us, because I think he's aware as we are, but sometimes he's kind of upset about the slowing movement all over the world, and so it's a bit challenging for us. And yeah, it's good to have some people like that tricking us to do even more progress.
Of course, and I think fundamentally that larger companies that account for a big part of the carbon emission, and that have the strong influence over the way that other companies run their business and operate and create supply chain, can be a real have to be a real part of the solution for us to meet some of these targets, or at least to limit the impact of the economy, of the global economy, and our ways of life on the planet. We have time for maybe one more questions, and I would like to ask you, Olivier, in all of the work that you have to do and all of these different levies of action that you had, if you, because it's going to be Christmas very soon, if you had, one wish that you could change immediately, what would you focus on directly to change with your magic wands?
Oh, perhaps I would like that people can debate without being that extreme, because I think nowadays, concerning all the issues we are discussing, the point of views are kind of extreme, and it's hard to find a compromise. And I think if you want to go further and better, we have to make a compromise in this all these subjects. So if I had a magical baguette, I can say, I would make a debate less extreme and more compromise possible.
That's an amazing wish for our non-French listeners. In French, to say a magic wand, you do say a magic baguette. So this is one of the numerous specificities of this country. Olivier, I want to thank you so much for participating to this 8th edition already of Meet the Giants with Cisco France that you represented. Do you want to give us maybe a concluding word about how you see the upcoming month, the upcoming years within Cisco and in sustainability?
Just work hard to meet our objectives concerning our commitments, because we yeah, commitments are easy to take but hard to reach. So yeah, to reach our commitments will be great in the future. And I think for everybody to set some commitments and then to gather the resources to meet these objectives would be a right way to work.
Amazing, Olivier. A little, very operational,
Yes, very
final words, which
wrong.
really resonates with me as well. There is Planet, as you know, is also a sustainability startup, and we see a lot of commitments, and we work to make these commitments become real. So this is
Yeah,
something that I
the
really
data, the
would
facts.
second.
Yeah,
Yes, use the data, and then use the data to make decarbonization, use the science to make the decarbonization fast enough, is the recommendation, the official Planet's recommendation. I would like also to thank all of the people that have tuned in during this streaming. It's a real pleasure to have you every month to get all of your great questions. Don't hesitate to follow up with Planet. Hi at Planet@Earth. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to the newsletter. There's many different ways that you can reach us and also get more information around sustainability and business, transforming supply chain, transforming the economic system that we have to go towards a more sustainable and a fully sustainable eventually system. We will be meeting pretty shortly, actually, for our next edition of Meet the Giants, number 9. This time with Hermes, that surely delivered the packets to one of your houses one day. One of the global leaders in therefore packaging and delivery of these packagings. It will be on the 9th of December, so everyone is of course invited to log in. To subscribe to get one of the tickets. It will be streamed also publicly again on the YouTube and LinkedIn Planet accounts. So please be there if you are interested in learning more about how global businesses do it and what can we learn from their great sustainability managers that have so many of these so much of the weight of the CO2 to manage. So thank you very much again, everyone. Thank you very much, Olivier Canone. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for again your comments, and we see you very shortly in a couple of weeks for the next edition.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Also.
Bye. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, or morning, depending on where you're joining us. Anyways, have a wonderful day today, and let's meet these science-based targets together. Have a good evening, everyone.
Great. Bye bye.